Did you know that this country uses marijuana to feed livestock? Did you know that images of the male genital organ adorn the facades of houses and businesses? And even more, did you know that this country is considered the happiest in the world and even has an indicator that measures happiness? Stay tuned until the end to discover which country we're talking about. Welcome to the Fascinating Traditions channel. Here, we unravel fascinating secrets and explore the incredible world around us. Don't miss out on the discoveries. Subscribe now, activate notifications, and embark on this knowledge adventure with us. Try to imagine an unexplored kingdom, with impressive views of green valleys, rivers with crystal clear waters, forests and rich fauna in paradisiacal landscapes. And no, we are not talking about some Caribbean country or protected forest reserve. We are talking about the most isolated country in the world, Bhutan. But wait, although this name is a little peculiar for us Brazilians, mainly because we love to make puns with this word, if you know what I mean, today you will know the history of this country that measures the happiness of the nation, in addition to several curiosities. Bhutan, known as the Kingdom of the Thunder Dragon, is a country located in the Himalayas in South Asia, between India and China. It has a territory slightly smaller than the state of Rio de Janeiro, and its population is approximately 800,000 inhabitants, with the capital of the country being Thimphu. The country was completely isolated from other countries until the mid-1960s, and to this day it is a very demanding destination regarding its visitors. Thanks to this, the country maintains its traditions and has a practically untouched nature. Bhutan's opening to the world is very recent, and the preservation of Beninese culture led the country to receive certain consumer goods late. An example is television, which came to the country during the 1998 World Cup, when they saw Brazil get beaten by France in the final, by the way. The internet arrived almost in 2010. In fact, this place is almost a sanctuary, and it is not surprising that it is considered the last Eden of the world. There are no traffic lights there, everyone has access to healthcare, and crime rates are practically zero. And speaking of health and tradition, there is a sacred remedy called pangbaribi. The whole country knows this remedy, considered extremely valuable, and what is its composition? It is a mixture of medicinal herbs and, believe it or not, scrapes from the skull of a monk who lived in the region a few centuries ago. Bhutan is rich in mineral resources, with an economy focused on agriculture, animal husbandry and the sale of hydroelectric power to India, being essential for 90% of the population. A peculiarity is the abundant growth of marijuana, used by ranchers to whet the animal's appetite. The country maintains a strong religious connection with Buddhism as a crucial part of culture and identity. In addition to the exuberant nature, temples and monasteries, the Takong Monastery stands out, located 3,000 meters above sea level. The country is characterized by a remarkable tranquility, where the influence of Buddhism is reflected in the presence of one monk for every 100 inhabitants. Prayer flags, known as lakta, are scattered on high points in cities and near temples, representing elements of Chinese theory. These flags, carried by the wind, symbolize blessings spread throughout the world, transcending borders, even adorning Mount Everest, the highest point on the planet. Another curiosity about this country, full of beliefs, is that it is very common to see phallic images painted on the walls of buildings throughout the country. It all started because of a religious leader called Drunk Ponen, or the Divine Fool, who became known for his peculiar methods of bringing his followers, especially women, to enlightenment. Legend has it that he brought more than 5,000 women to the peak of life with his powerful genitalia. Today, he is revered as the saint of fertility and has earned a monastery in his honor, called Timi Luk Hang. Pilgrims from all over the world who have difficulties having children go to this monastery to receive the blessing. Local monks pray, take a wooden penis and put it on the woman's head to bless them. But what is more surprising is that this different monk is not revered for bringing the 5,000 women to maximum climax, but for having subjugated a demon with his powerful penis, known locally as the Flaming Ray. The country is governed by a constitutional monarchy led by King Dignkisha. However, the history of the royal family is a little more complex and, before becoming a haven of tranquility, it went through some conflicts. The earliest records of the nation date back to the 6th century, when the Tibetan king Singampu built the first Buddhist temples in the Paro and Bungitang valleys. However, the true formation of the nation began in the 15th century, when a fugitive prince from Tibet unified his funds, built imposing fortresses called jangs to protect himself from invasions, and thus this prince became the first Shabdrung, or one who is above others. Always isolated, the country only maintained relations with some neighbors. However, with the arrival of the English to India in the 19th century, conflicts arose that resulted in the Boer War, and the country almost faced separation. Yugen Young Chuk, a powerful figure, assumed the throne in 1907, expelling opponents and ruling successfully for nearly 2 decades. However, his son, the second king, was more inclined to bow and arrow training than to governance. The third king of the dynasty, known as the King of Modernization, unlike his archer father, promoted significant advances. With good relations with India, he implemented medical and health measures that doubled the life expectancy of the population. However, the smoking habit acquired in India resulted in his premature death at age 30, due to lung cancer. Bhutan sought international recognition and became a member of organizations such as the Universal Postal Union in 1969. To increase visibility, the country adopted the creation of stamps, including for use in legal commitments, reflecting the culture of trust that eliminates bureaucracy. Common elsewhere. This focus on stamps contributed to international recognition, culminating in accession to the United Nations in 1971. Another curious fact about stamps, and this time not postcards, is the fact of using a stamp purchased at any store to seal commitments. You do not understand? Calm down and I'll explain to you. Bhutan still cultivates the culture of trust, so there is no bureaucracy here such as contracts, authentication or signature recognition, as we are used to. In the country, for a document to be legal, you only need to have the legal stamp, which, when placed on a piece of paper and signed over, has the same value as a document with a recognized signature in Brazil. Have you already imagined? When the third king of Bhutan died, his son, Digmshar Wangchuck, took over as ruler at age 17, following the tradition of student princes. He emphasized the importance of producing happiness for the people, giving rise to the concept of gross domestic happiness, FIB. In the 1970s, Bhutan established the pillars of the happiness indicator, encompassing sustainable economic development, cultural preservation, environmental conservation and good governance, subdivided into 9 areas. The third king banned tobacco production, possibly influenced by his father's lung cancer. In 2006, after 34 years of reign, the fourth king abdicated in favor of his son, ushering in democracy with the constitutional monarchy. Digm, the current king, was crowned in 2008, becoming the youngest monarch in the world, with the coronation scheduled according to astral alignments, following local traditions. In this magical country, the new king's story has overtones of fairy tales, from his marriage to a commoner student to the birth of his first heir, an adorable baby. Over time, the family has grown and now they have another member. The new king follows in his father's footsteps, dedicating himself to maintaining joy in a country facing challenges. In 2019, he stood out for lending his private plane to save the first case of coronavirus infection in Bhutan. Faced with the illness of a 76-year-old American tourist, the king, upon learning of the situation, provided deliveries to guarantee the patient's comfort, and, as his condition worsened and with help scheduled days away, he surprised by equipping his plane with the most advanced medical technology and transport the man to the United States, saving his life. And you, did you know the country of happiness? Tell us what you think. If you like this content, don't forget to leave your like, share and subscribe for more curiosities. Thank you so much for watching, until the next exploration.